This is Barry Zalma speaking for Claim School Incorporated's blog, Zalma on Insurance. Today we're going to speak about why if you steal from the government, you will go to jail, and why criminals take advantage of government health care programs that are just too tempting to resist. In a case called The People versus Howard Oliver, the California Court of Appeals on May 12, 2023, dealt with Oliver's appeal from the judgment entered after a jury convicted him of conspiracy to cheat and defraud Medi-Cal, Medi-Cal fraud, grand theft, false and fraudulent claims, insurance fraud, and 4 counts of tax evasion for 2012 through 2015. Oliver was sentenced to an aggregate sentence of 7 years, 8 months in prison and ordered to pay over $2.85 million in restitution. In 1997, Oliver hired accountant Lou Cannon to assist with taxes and bookkeeping for his business, Central Desert Industrial Medical Group, an Apple Valley medical clinic which provided medical care to injured workers. Cannon eventually learned that Oliver was also the director of a lucrative alcohol and drug counseling center and became interested in operating one. Oliver counseled her on starting a facility, providing her information and documentation to submit with the relevant applications, and loaned her funds to start the facility. In 2008, Cannon opened West Coast Counseling Center in Long Beach, California, designating herself as the executive director and Oliver the medical director. Oliver provided his medical license and advised Cannon as to which office to rent, informing her an examination room was not necessary. West Coast's business was based on billing Medi-Cal. Cannon handled the billing, payroll, and accounting. Oliver served as medical director, signing off on files, plans, and billing. He received a salary of $1,500 a month, which later increased to $2,500 per month. Cannon directed counselors to fill in incomplete intake forms with false information and input progress notes in files of patients who the counselors never counseled. To accomplish this, approximately twice a month, Bailey gave counselors patient names and dates so that they could prepare false progress notes in the files. Oliver visited the office once or twice a month to review files, sign them, and return them to counselors. Oliver signed a physical examination waiver for clients. Bailey, who was also working in the facility, instructed the counselors to list group sessions as lasting 3 hours, even though no sessions went that long. If counselors failed to do so, their paychecks would be withheld until necessary corrections to the entries were made. Counselors complained about the falsification of records during a staff meeting with Cannon, Bailey, Oliver, and Moreno, and Oliver said to Bailey, quote, "You need to stop doing that with staff," close quote. The counselors were asked to leave the meeting room, and after the meeting, Oliver continued to sign off on patient visits that had not occurred. West Coast was doing very well financially. West Coast also began offering incentives to encourage Medi-Cal recipients to come into their offices and provide their Medi-Cal card in exchange for vouchers for food, clothes, and transportation. The Department of Justice investigation auditor assigned to investigate West Coast determined that Medi-Cal paid West Coast approximately $2.8 million between January of 2010 and September of 2013, approximately half of which was for one-on-one counseling for 3 hours per day, 3 days per week. The investigation revealed that Oliver had deposited several $100,000 worth of checks into the Central Desert and/or Grove medical accounts that went unreported on Central Desert's tax returns, and Central Desert failed to pay $203,744 in taxes. Finding that the trial court's denial of Oliver's mistrial request was not erroneous, the Court of Appeal noted that the evidence of Oliver's knowledge that the documents he was signing contained false information was overwhelming, and Oliver's contrary arguments were unavailing. The court concluded that the trial court did not err in denying a mistrial. However, Assembly Bill No. 518, which took effect on January 1, 2022, days after Oliver's December 7, 2021 sentencing, amended Section 654 to provide in pertinent part, quote, an act or omission that is punishable in different ways by different provisions of law may be punished under either of such provisions, but in no case shall the act or omission be punished under more than one provision, close quote. A trial court must therefore exercise its informed discretion when sentencing a defendant. Oliver was convicted of 5 counts related to Medi-Cal fraud and 4 counts related to tax evasion. Under the former statute, the trial court was required to impose the longer sentence for count 2 and to stay the sentence for counts 1, 3, and 4, and 6, because, as the trial court recognizes, those 5 counts arose out of essentially the same course of action. Under the amended statute, the trial court had discretion to sentence Oliver under one of the less severe provisions and stay sentences on the other counts arising out of the same acts or omissions. Howard Oliver's sentence was vacated, and the case was remanded to the trial court for resentencing. In all other respects, the judgment was affirmed. In my opinion, defrauding the state and federal government is a serious crime. Not paying your taxes is also a serious crime. Oliver did so with impunity for payment of only $2,500 a month plus whatever he could steal, over $200,000 from the business, and by lying on his tax returns. He was properly convicted of the crimes and sentenced appropriately. Hopefully, although I hold out little hope, when the sentence is looked at again, the trial court will exercise its discretion and keep or make longer the sentence Oliver must serve. This video was adapted from my blog, Zelma on Insurance, which is available free to anyone who clicks on the URL zelma.com/blog. And you can also subscribe to the blog at that blog posting. You can also subscribe to these videos on rumble.com and on youtube.com, and I'd appreciate it if you click on the thumbs up button at Rumble or the like button at YouTube if you appreciated the videos. And also, if they're useful to you, please tell your friends and colleagues so that they can also subscribe to the blog and to the videos. And if you wish more detailed and more extensive coverage of insurance claims and insurance law, please consider subscribing to my locals community or my Substack publications, where there is already posted a long series of documents and videos to assist you in understanding insurance law. Thank you for your attention.